The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
Yossi was a young teenager, and he was really struggling. He was making bad decisions. He was trying to figure things out, and he was clearly not in a good spot. But then his family decided to go to the Catskills for the summer, so he came along. One day when his father was by the pool, Yossi took the family car keys and decided to take the family car for a joyride. No license, really no idea how to drive, but hey, why not? And he began to drive. And things were going okay, and he was going pretty quickly. When he got to the vicinity of the ShopRite up in the Catskills, all of a sudden, to his utter horror, he sees in the rearview mirror shining lights, and he knew he was in trouble. A cop pulls him over and says to him, "License and registration." "I don't have a license," he said. "What are you doing?" the cop says. "How are you driving without a license?" He says, "I'm going to be honest with you. My dad's in the ShopRite, and while he's shopping, he left me outside, and I decided I'm going to take the car for a joyride, but I wasn't really planning on doing anything major." The cop says to him, "I understand. Do me a favor, go into ShopRite and get your dad." And now Yossi was in trouble. His father was in ShopRite. His father was in the pool. What does he do? Yossi heads into the ShopRite. He sees a first from man, and he walks over to him and he says to him, "Sir, I beg you, you got to help me out." And he shares with him that he was just pulled over and that he doesn't have a license and that he's in real trouble. And the man thinks for a minute and he goes, "Don't worry about it. I got you." And him and Yossi come outside. And as he's walking Yossi towards the policeman, he starts screaming at him. And he says to him, "How could you do such a thing? How could you take the car for a drive? How many times have I told you to not make bad decisions? Understand something, young man. You're not getting your license when you're 20. You're getting your license when you're 40. And even then, I'm going to have nothing to do with this. You're grounded for a week." And he begins to berate him in front of the police officer. The police officer is a little bit shocked. And the police officer says to him, "Sir, pipe down. He's just a kid. Relax. Take it easy. He made a bad decision. We all make bad decisions." And he looks at Yossi and he says, "Right, you made a bad decision?" He goes, "Yes." "Do you think you're going to make that type of decision again?" He goes, "No, never. I learned my lesson." The cop says to the father, "Go easy on your son." Cop gets into his car and he drives off. And Yossi looks up at the man with grateful eyes and says, "Wow, thank you so much. I really appreciate it." There are two things about the story that are fantastic. Number one, that the man was willing to go to bat for an absolute stranger. The chachma, the wisdom that he used to get him out of it. That's amazing. But I'll tell you something else that's fascinating. If you were a bystander and you were watching the exchange between the father and his son, and he is berating his son, he's telling him off, he's giving him a real tongue lashing, you would probably think, what a terrible father. He can't find a better way to educate his son than to put him down in such a way. Yet if you knew the entire story, you'd realize that there was absolutely no cruelty taking place whatsoever. This was the ultimate kindness. And the truth is, in our lives, sometimes things don't appear like HaKadosh Baruch Hu is treating us with absolute rachamim, with compassion. Maybe things are not going the way we anticipated. Maybe we have challenges and we have struggles. But we need to understand that the Rebbeinu Shalom is the ultimate of Rachman. He's the ultimate merciful and compassionate Father. And what He's doing is definitely for our best. When we look at things from that perspective, HaKadosh Baruch Hu helps us understand things from that perspective as well.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org